In a race that not too long ago seemed like a lock for Governor Kathy Hochul, polls show she is in a tight battle with her Republican challenger, Congressman Lee Zeldin. The latest numbers have Hochul leading Zeldin by 6 points overall, but he leads in voters most likely to turn out and is gaining momentum across the state. There are less than 2 weeks left until Election Day. Governor Hochul joins us now to discuss all of this. Governor, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
So let's begin with those polls. The average spread, as we said, roughly 6 points. At one point, there was a 24-point spread between you and Lee Zeldin. So if you average out these polls, not accounting for the margin of error, again, we're looking at about 6 points. What do you make of the fact that the race has tightened so significantly?
I think if you look at what's happening all across the country, voters are paying attention, and there's a lot of headwinds out there, and this is what's happening even in Democratic states. But what that does for me is it energizes myself. I always run like I'm 10 points behind, always, in every one of my 14 elections. I run like an underdog, and the voters are now paying attention, realizing what's on the ballot this year. I mean, what's at stake in this election, how critically important it is. So I'm embracing the opportunity to talk about the record and get away from my opponent's rhetoric, because I have a real record to run on. And this is the next couple of weeks. Early voting starts tomorrow, and I've been out there talking to voters, and I think we're going to see a really good election night in just a couple of weeks.
As you well know, crime consistently ranks as one of the top issues for voters, and the polls, potentially some are saying, are the reason why you might have shifted to now talking more about crime than, say, abortion or other issues. Is that the case?
What I would say is I've been talking about crime since I became governor. You know, the record is clear. I went to the subways with Eric Adams, not just this past weekend, but last January, his first week on the job, talking about a subway safety plan and getting people with severe mental illness the treatment they need so they're not on our subways. But now we've launched what we call Cops, Cameras, and Care. I have cameras on the subways. I've deployed more state resources, more police to help NYPD. So, and also we made changes to the bail laws in our budget. You know, that was months ago. So the coverage of it wasn't there when it was unfolding. We actually did do ads back in May and June about my record on fighting crime. I'm proud of that. So we also want to make sure people knew about how extreme Lee Zeldin is on abortion, and the fact that he thinks a crime plan without guns is going to be effective, and he thinks that he can have guns in schools and on the subways and in Times Square. And we have a huge difference on how you fight crime. You don't fight crime by ignoring the whole issue of illegal guns, not saying that people should have more guns. So what this gives us an opportunity to really show the contrast, but also to point to a record that has been there all along. And so I'm proud of that.
So to that point, murders and shootings here in the city are down, but other serious crimes, we're talking robbery, rape, felony assault, have increased. And on the issue of bail reform, it was a topic at the debate earlier this week, and many believe that if in fact bail reform was revised, then perhaps crime would go down. I want to take a quick listen to some of your speaking points at the debate, and then I'll have you respond.
She still hasn't talked about locking up anyone committing any crimes.
Okay.
Anyone who commits a crime under our laws, especially with the change they made to bail, has consequences. I don't know why that's so important to you. All I know is that we could do more.
I don't know why that is so important to you. Governor, explain that. What did you mean when you said you don't know why that's so important?
Because he kept raising it time after time after time in the debate. He said he wanted me to say that there's, people should be locked up. I said, I don't know why it's so important to you, because I'm already doing it. I mean, I'm not there to answer to Lee Zeldin. I'm answering to the people of the state. And I have a record. I've been talking about it. It didn't mean I didn't say crime was important. That's a mischaracterization. Crime is very important. People are concerned about it. There's a lot of fear out there. But for that to be extrapolated that because I told him, I don't know why I have to keep telling him why it's so important, because I already know. So I think that's just happens in the heat of a debate. That's fine. But, to pull that out of context. And when I have a real record of changing the bail laws, we have repeat offenders now covered. We have gun crimes now covered. We have more discretion for judges and more power for district attorneys. And I tripled the amount of money going for law enforcement. Lee Zeldin didn't even show up to vote in Congress when there was a vote to give more federal money for law enforcement. So I've got a record that it speaks for itself. And that's what this election is about, to show people that you can talk about crime or you actually do something about it. So it's not about, getting all the sound bites and all the coverage and the drama. It's about sound policy that's working. And that's what I'm working on with people like Mayor Adams, working together as a team, bringing state resources to help the city of New York do what they need to do, which is help all of us keep the crime rate down. So we're working together. That's something that has not happened historically. The mayor and governor working in concert together, and I'm doing it all over the state. So mayors in Syracuse and Rochester will know that I've said, I will help you. I am the state, I represent the state. I will bring state resources to assist your efforts. So
you mentioned Mayor Adams. He has said that our crime issue, at least when it comes to the subways, is a perception issue. It is not reality. And I'm paraphrasing, but he made a comment earlier this week saying it's like roughly 6 violent crimes a day. Well, if you take that over the course of a year, we're looking at thousands of victims. In your estimation, as the leader of this state, is this a legitimate problem or is it a perception issue?
We have to deal with public safety. Absolutely. I've been focused on this. And are we finished? No way. We have so much more to do, but I'm the person to get it done. That's the difference. I've brought together people from 9 states, leaders in law enforcement, to say we've got to stop the flow of illegal guns coming into the state. Lee Zeldin thinks there's nothing wrong with it. He won't take a stand to even stop an 18-year-old from buying an AR-15. After the slaughter in my hometown of Buffalo of 15 innocent or 10 people on a Saturday afternoon just grocery shopping, done by an 18-year-old white supremacist who targeted them because of the color of their skin. I said, we have to get these guns out of people's hands. Lee Zeldin criticized that. He criticized our efforts to have red flag laws. So when we see someone who might do harm, someone who might be on a subway or in a school setting, gives a threat, they need to be tracked down and find out whether they have guns. He said he opposes all that. I think people need to know running commercials and being critical is not a sound policy for getting guns off the street. So my answer is we have so much more to do, but we're making progress. I understand it doesn't feel like it, and I'm not going to stop fighting for people until they really do feel that sense of security that every New Yorker deserves.
Governor, you took over at a very chaotic time in New York State history. The voters and New Yorkers are still sort of getting to know you as the governor of this state. So before we leave tonight, what can you tell them about the person that you are and the politician that you are, especially as a Democrat? Are you someone who is going to put forward a more progressive policy? Are you somebody who considers yourself a moderate? Who can they expect in office if they do, in fact, grant you a full term?
I have always been a fighter for the people of the state. I've been elected to every level of government. I served in Congress. I spent 8 years as lieutenant governor, understanding the issues of this city in particular better than most because I show up. I am there to respond, but also the kind of person I am a very middle-of-the-road Democrat who says we have to keep taxes down. We have to understand that the economy is important, creating more jobs. I was with President Biden yesterday talking about 50,000 new jobs coming to New York, the largest private sector investment in our history. I want to make sure we have a lot of businesses opening so we get people jobs and also support the labor community. These are hardworking men and women. So you don't have to be defined by a label. I'm just out there getting the job done. I roll up my sleeves and work hard every day. That's what voters want. That's what the constituents deserve.
We will see on Election Day. Governor Kathy Hochul, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and keep it right here on Fox 5 for continuing coverage as we count down to the midterms. We'll also have the results as they come in on election night.